Hey, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're excited that you're here and we are here. So come on, share the broadcast, say hello so we can say hello back. Go to bit.ly/free women 2020. You want to go ahead and go to that. Listen, we've been talking about this for how many weeks? Oh my goodness. If you haven't went to that link yet, I don't know what you're waiting on. Maybe you're new, and that's fine. If you're new to the broadcast, say hello and go to that link, bit.ly/free women 2020. We're going to tell you about the $1 million grant opportunity. We have been interviewing, had some amazing interviews technically last night, and there have been, and the ladies and men, though it's the free woman grant, there have been some men that have applied. So guys, you can apply for this grant as well. It's just sponsored by the Free Women Project. But we're excited, looking forward to all of you all that will join and be part of that process, and looking forward to this conversation tonight. It's going to be brief. So, don't go out
Maybe,
the
maybe
room and get
not.
a
Who
snack.
knows? Who knows? You know how I get going. So
See,
can't guarantee brief when it comes to me. And I apologize in advance, but sometimes I just get worked up. What?
okay, well,
We
okay.
talking about it.
Look,
So
we in here, so we'll be here
yeah.
as long as we're here. Don't miss out.
Right. I'm Stephanie Lane with the Career Women Collaborative, where career women hire me to help them get the position that they've earned, and to get the money, the paper, the shmoney that they deserve, as well as get them to their next career level. So that's what we do at the Career Women Collaborative. We do all things concerning careers for women. So with that said, guys, sharing is caring. Share, share, share. Put hashtag share as you go along and sharing. We always come on here strong, guys. We always impart a lot of information and have discussion. So feel free to comment in the comment section. If you have a question about anything that we're talking about, if you're in agreement with anything we're talking about, heart it up. Periscope Peep, we love you. We thank you for rocking with us. You're always here on the midnight train or the early, early morning subway. So we love it, love it, love it. Hopefully it gets your day going. But we have been here, sis, for 3 weeks now. We've been here, or we've completed 3 weeks, right? This is the beginning of week 4. So we've been talking about due season. And I think everything that we've been talking about is culminating into this, our discussion for today. And we're going to be talking about letting it go. And both of us prior to this, we were singing the Frozen song, let it go, let it go. Because so many things happen to us in life. There are some things that we're not letting go that will stop you and halt you from getting to your future, from getting to your destiny, getting to your success. So we've been talking about all of those things. So letting it go, what is stopping you? And let's think about that just for a moment. When you're not able to let things go, it is an emotional weight. It is a mental heaviness for you, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you think it or not. And then what happens is we try to push it and suppress it, push it all the way back in the back of our minds, suppress it as much as we can. But then all of a sudden another situation occurs and it comes right back up. It's because you have not properly let it go. And it does hinder your movement. It stops you from making sound decisions. It'll play up in your mind, and it'll create a level of fear of taking action, of moving forward, of taking the next step. But guys, we work on all of that. We do all of that in our community. So go to bit.ly/free women 2020 and come join us and talk about these things. Learn how to deal with these things, especially if you're looking to get into business or if you're already in a business. And guys, even though we talk about things that seem like they're life lessons, because we are doing a series on due season, and that do, like DO, take action season, not DUE. Although if you do DO, you will get your DUE. Did I just say something, right? That you got that church rock going. Just need your hat so it can bob a little bit, right? So again, I'll say that if you DOE, Lord, I'm bringing dough in it. If you DO and just take action, you will get your DUE. They go hand in hand. So, guys, again, leave comments. We're going to be looking at the comments. We will talk to you back. We love, as you can see, as you can tell, we both have some church background. It's call and response over here. So when we call, we need you to respond. All right. So again, we're talking about what are we talking about? I just blanked out. Woo! Letting it go. We're talking about letting it go and what can happen when you don't let it go. And again, life lessons, but it also is practical business lessons, right? They're synonymous because whatever you're doing in your life, you're probably handling things the same way in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, an onlinepreneur, whatever that is for you and what that looks like for you. So I always like to give examples of my life because I have many. And so I was in leadership for quite some time. I ran several organizations, but one of the organizations I was running, I mean, I had taken that organization from the bottom to the top in a very short period of time. Now, I don't say, let me back up. I should not have started out with I did because I didn't do it alone. My team, I had a phenomenal team, and they listened and we worked together. Collaboratively, we were able to take us in a short period of time because Stephanie alone could not have done it. However, in doing that, there were some measures that one would deem or seem like, very risky to take or to do in order to accomplish the goal that we were accomplishing. I'm going to tell you that fear set in for me because I was like, oh, what if this doesn't work? What if this happens? What if I went into that what if in my head? And I'm telling you guys, I slowed down for a minute because I was too scared to make some of the moves. But that was coming up. All of that was coming up in me because of my past. Over the organization right before this one, I had tried some risky measures and it played out okay, but not for the organization. Ultimately, it wasn't a win-win type of situation. And so now coming into a different organization and doing some similar things, knowing that it's going to work, absolutely proven, data driven, you name it, we had it. We had it all together, but that fear crept up. And I had not mentally nor emotionally resolved the issues from my past organization or past history of the last organization to let it go. And so it slowed the process. And I know probably my teammates, they were looking at me like, what is going on? She said she wanted us to do this, and now she's telling us, no, wait a minute. I mean, because I know how that can drive someone nuts. When you have a leader or someone that says, let's do this, we're going to do that, and this is how we're going to do it. And then the next week say, no, 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 we're going to slow this down, and let's wait. That can drive a person nuts. And that was me. That was me. And I can give you numerous stories where that also played out in my life. If you've had some kind of issues, personal issues, abandonment issues, let me tell you, I'm sure T. Marie, she's going to talk to you guys probably about that because that has a lot to do with relationships and how that comes up. And if you don't let those go, if you don't figure out how to or find resources or find wisdom or counsel, you're going to have some issues. It is always going to be in your mind, and it's going to affect your do. T?
I don't even know why I let her go first. She just dropped the mic. It's like I'm reaching for scattered pieces, trying to put something together. So yes, let it go has been the story of my life. I have had to let it go when I wanted to, when I didn't want to. I've had to let it go even when I did want to. I had to let it go when I was forced to. I had to let it go when God said, let it go. And those are very hard positions to be in. But the thing is, especially I know that I am loved. So, he wants what's best for me. So if he's telling me to let something go, then there's something better, something greater, something bigger for me to attain. And you don't even have to go in terms of relationship, but please, seek wise counsel when you're in the midst of a relationship or thinking that you're wanting to go to the next level. Make sure you seek with wise counsel. But even in that, because I believe in premarital counseling, even if it doesn't change you, I think it should bring some conversations to the table that you probably didn't have. It should bring some things to the table that you had not considered or even thought might be a part of what you're embarking on. You might not want to call it that, but I believe there needs to be some sort of third party, sit down with the two, let's have this conversation. Like seriously, because you don't know what you don't know, and you find yourself in situations trying to maneuver. But had you like really gotten in the space where you had those real hard conversations, or you had the below surface kind of conversations, you would have seen, and so it brings this visual so clear to me. If you ever seen an iceberg, you see this pretty thing on top. What you don't see is all this big, huge monstrosity of ice up under the water. And that's what it's like when you're embarking upon that kind of major decision and commitment for your life. Now, I am talking about marriage covenant, because you got to go so much deeper. And it's not to say that in that whatever that time frame is that you set aside, that you handle and you tackle all of that stuff, but you got to know that there's plenty of stuff there. And even as you prepare for the relationship, there are going to be some things that you're going to have to make a decision. Is this important enough to leave on the table? Is this important enough to keep us from getting up from the table with the same decision we sat down with, or what? And there are going to be some things that, as you move forward, as you desire to be in covenant with that person, you're going to have to let go about yourself, and vice versa. You're going to have to let some stuff go. Now, we certainly can talk about the aftermath, because there's a very ugly aftermath of divorce, which requires, I believe, an even greater level of letting go. But we won't talk about that just now. But just consider there's some things that are deeper than just surface. Go beyond the surface. You're on mute. You're on mute.
And I'm just talking away. Hey,
You
so
going.
I'm just that resonated with me when you talked about the iceberg imagery. I'm like, ooh, that can go so many different ways, because yes, you have that beautiful structure on the outside, but guess what? You had to go through some things, that past, your history. Uh, and I talked about earlier about that fear, and that the things that can sometimes stop you or halt you, that you need to let go. However, that underneath, that monstrosity that she was just talking about, that's your foundation. So that means even that ugliness sometimes, that is ultimately makes you who you are, right? But even though you let it go, doesn't mean that it's not part of you, and that you didn't learn from it. But letting it go means it doesn't affect you to the point where you're limiting yourself, that you can't move the way you need to move, that you see success, but you won't go get success. Oh, I just said something. Somebody need to write that down. I just said something there. So yeah, that was wow. That was great. I really like that image because I was just biting at the bit, ready for you to jump off so I could jump back in. So guys, go to bit.ly/free women 2020. What are we doing with that? Why do we keep saying this? How come, we keep naming that bit.ly or listing that bit.ly out to you guys? Guess what? The Free Women bring $1 million in grants to business owners, to people who are looking to get into business, people who want to fund their passion. But the grant is to go towards a certification program to get you certified to be a coach in 12 different areas that we are offering. We have a So when you go to that link, you'll be registered Friday night. We've been doing it every Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, right now is the time. Again, we've been doing this series every late night, early morning about due season. It is your season right now. When it's calm and it's quiet, even in the midst of the storm. And I'm talking about the pandemic. I'm talking about the protests and the injustices that are now being put in the forefront, rightfully so. But you can be on stealth mode. You could be moving quietly behind the scenes, doing what's best for you and your family to create a legacy. Usually out of pandemics is where the most millionaires are created or generated, because people are, doing all kinds of other things, or it sets them down. It gives them time to think about their next moves and how they're going to go about it. So this is the time. And again, we keep talking about wise counsel. If you're looking to start a business, if you have a passion and you don't know what direction to go, it's best to get with a like-minded group of people, a community, a coach, someone, even if it's not here with us, but someone that can help all the mistakes. That'll take you longer to get to your destiny. You can learn from someone who's already made the mistakes. They're going to tell you not to do those certain things and help you along the way. Also, hold a 9 to 5, whether it's just a general job or a corporate world. Working on your own is totally different. It is exceptionally different. And if you don't understand what that is and what that looks like, because at the end of the day, when you work out in the field for other people, it's not your money you're playing with. All you know is, this is my job, this is all I have to do, and I get paid. But when you work for yourself, when you're on your own, if you don't move your feet, you don't get paid. And that is totally, the stakes are higher. And so you need to make sure that you're connected to people who are doing exactly what you want to do, so that you'll know when things get slow, what do I do? Oh, what kind of systems should I have in place? These are kinds of questions that are real questions and things that we work with you in our community. So again, go to bit.ly/free women 2020. Now, I'll talk to you guys a little bit later about the ins and outs, some more super things that I think are exciting compared to other programs that are out there in the world. So we're talking about letting things go, or letting it go, whatever it is, letting it go. And one thing that I'm gonna bring up that I had an aha moment is, sometimes I brought up about having a fear of letting it go, but sometimes that fear of letting it go can be because if I let it go, I can no longer control it. Wow, right? I can't control that thing if I let it go. And I don't want to. I'm gonna try to stay in my lane. I'm gonna try to stay in my lane. But the closest thing I can think about is that bay thing, that boo thing. That sometimes we need to let it go. Let him go. Let her go. Because they're not good for us. They're not supporting us. They're not. I mean, all kinds of things. Let me give you these three things. And this just made sense to me. If there's no consistency or great communication, then there's no level of commitment. Wow. So you got to know times that fear can control. If you let that person, that you have no control over that anymore. And that is a real fear, right? I can think about, letting my kids drive my car for the first time. Because I was in the passenger, you have no control. Yeah, you can grab the wheel, but even grabbing the wheel, you really still don't have control over that thing. Anything can happen. And so that the imaginary brake over there on the passenger side, you're putting your hand on the console because you think that's going to stop you or help you, or not let you go through the window because they're braking too hard. You do it's a nightmare. I'm telling you, been there, done it, and I do understand. But guess what? That still plays out. That plays out because I have two other ones coming up behind the two older ones. And when that time comes again, I guarantee I'm going to do the same thing because that's how it is. But guys, guess what? There are so many things that can ease you, that can make life a little bit better for you, when it comes to terms of letting things go, recognizing that it's time to let it go. And that's a hard thing. That's a real thing. And that's also maybe even acknowledging that you knew this for quite some time, but you weren't willing to let go of that because you wanted to control the situation. See?
Look, I was marinating on that thing. That's like one of them, how you have a good old bone and you got to make sure all the meat is off of it. Yes, yes, that was good. Look, let me finish so I can I'm gonna post it on my page too. Man, yes, you as it relates to relationship, but it doesn't even have to be romantic relationship. You can think about, whether it's a friendship, situationship, associateship, familyship. In the words of my dear friend Pastor Rhonda, whatever ship you on, if it's not going in the right direction,
Right.
it could easily crash. It could easily sink. And so, whew, that one right there. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But definitely it's okay. And I think the thing that we have to realize is that when it does us no good, it's gotta go. And I mean, I never been a man, so I don't know how long they stay in toxic relationships, but I've
Mm-mm.
seen women stay in toxic relationships for such a long time. And it just all but depletes everything that they are, everything that they have. Self-worth, self-esteem, their emotional well-being, their capacity to love or just trust. I mean, it can take away so much when we're talking about something that's toxic. You've got to be okay with, and like Stephanie said, control. Not having the control, it is more control staying in the situation even though it sucks than
Mm-hmm.
once I leave, what's gonna happen. And I think
Right.
a lot of people stay. I know this ain't show about relationship, but I think a lot of people stay because they don't know what's next.
Right. Or they'll stay in that job that they know they'll never get promoted.
Yeah.
They'll stay because it's comfortable,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Oh, we. So yeah, we've got to learn when, in the words of Kenny Rogers, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You got to know when to run.
Right.
And sometimes it ain't convenient, and sometimes you ain't prepared to run. Sometimes you don't have the proper shoes on to run, but you got to run.
Mm-hmm.
You got to, because
Mm-hmm.
it's for your greater good. You
Yeah.
may have gotten to this point, and I know for a lot of people have just been spent upside down because of these last few months that we've gone through. And so maybe you were in that situation, but maybe you were able to grab onto something and say, okay, what I was in, yeah, it's something's about that has to change.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're here today. And yes, there's $1 million in grant money available. If you go to bit.ly/free women 2020, there are, as Stephanie already said, programs that you can sign up for. Listen, if you looking for a way out, okay, let's go back to relationship. You in this bad relationship and you don't know what's next. You don't know how you're gonna make it. You don't know what you're gonna do. You got these kids. You got to move forward, or you just got yourself, and now you got nothing. But you went
Right.
into it with everything. Here is your opportunity. Do not let it pass you by, or else risk being stuck. Risk being in a place that's unfruitful. You got to let it go. This is your opportunity. Go to bit.ly/free women 2020 so that you can get the information that you need to sign up. I'm about to disconnect with Periscope. So you can sign up and get in this process. Listen, this train then already left the station, but you still have time to get on board. So get your ticket. Go get your ticket. Is bit.ly/free women 2020 so you can get the process started. Get the information, schedule that, get the information, get the application, schedule the interview, do the interview, and then see what's next for you. To our
Mm-hmm.
first responders and essential workers, listen, we got a spot just for you, because we appreciate your sacrifice and what you have done throughout 2020 to
Yes.
help save and be there for the world. bit.ly/free women 2020.
All right, all right, all right, guys. So let's talk about some things that you can do, right? Say you're that person and you just have a difficult time of letting things go. Some people would even categorize that as a grudge in a sense, but we're talking about just letting it go, whether it's positive or negative. Sometimes it's not good for you, especially the negative. But here's some things. First thing is you can create some kind of affirmation, something positive, a mantra that when it comes up in your mind and you feel like it's stopping you from progress, that you remind yourself and encourage yourself that how great you are, how you can move past this, that you've been here before and you've done it again and again. Because I'm gonna tell you, there's certain things that happen to us, or certain things that we have to do daily. That because some things that have happened to our past, it stops us. I'll give you an example. I mean, just like I don't particularly have a fear of coming on live. Can you tell? But there are a lot of people that do. And it's something that's in them, whether it be when they were little and someone told them that they needed to be quiet all the time, or told them they had a big mouth and they just should, be quiet. And I'll be guilty of that because I have one child that she talks louder than I. Sometimes it scares me. I don't think she can hear well, but she hears just fine. She just is, she's the baby and she wants to be heard at all times. When she speaks, she wants everybody to be quiet and listen to her. So I get it, but I can't tell her that, baby, you're talking too loud, because she'll seem that'll be negative. I can give you an example. When I was growing up, I gave this, I think, a while back. I was told I was bossy, and I was. Oh, I so was. We played school, I was the school teacher. If we played church, I was the preacher or the tambourine lady. I was in the forefront at all times.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying I was. But that stuck with me, guys. As I aged and got older, when I got into school and got into like high school, junior high actually, I was quiet as a mouse because I didn't want people to think I was bossy in any way. I didn't want to say things or conduct myself in a way that people would characterize me as such. It wasn't until I got into college and I took a communications class, that I started breaking that cycle and started really like thinking of myself not as bossy, but just confident. I'm okay with being a leader. I'm okay being in the forefront. I have large shoulders, and guess what? If that's what I'm going to do and be, I just have to own it. And I've been owning it ever since. And I'm okay. So it's just about perspective too. So just change that. So when those things come up, yeah, I remember those days. Now I can laugh at some of this crazy stuff I used to make my cousins do. We talk about it now, but I'm sure it was painful for them, and that's probably why they called me all kind of bossy names and such. And that they don't realize that it's going to affect you in a certain way later, but it does, right? So you could create something positive out of that. You could create a distance, whether it be physical or mental distance. Distance yourself from whether people or you distance yourself from a situation, right? So that keeps that at bay, so that you're not limiting yourself anymore. Okay, you can practice what people call being mindful. That just is focusing on yourself and being present in the moment and being okay. Also, you can be gentle with yourself. Give yourself some grace. We show grace to everybody else. I'm gonna tell you, we show a lot of grace to a lot of people, but when it comes to ourselves, especially women, we don't give ourselves enough grace. We'll keep pushing, 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 and then get upset with ourselves if something wasn't done or accomplished, or we didn't feel like it was completed to the best that we know how, or we weren't able to help someone like we knew to help them. So those are just a few things. I'll keep giving you some more things on what you can do to get out of that situation where you find that you can't let it go. But before I move on to some more tips for you guys, I just want to tell you about going to bit.ly/free women 2020. Why is it important for you to go there and learn about this certification program that we're offering? Because it is one of a kind. It is not like any one other program that you're going to find in out there. You can research it all day long. You can prove me wrong. You can come back on live. I will interview you personally, and you tell me that I'm wrong. Okay, but you got to bring your proof. You got to bring your receipts. So what I mean by it being so different is that you will get a person live. You're going to get our coach live coaching you, okay, on your certification. And she will stay on as long as you're on, asking questions, fielding questions. You will get accountability partners. You will have working sessions. Yes, you will have homework because it is a real certification program. It is not one that you sign up for that you end up watching videos and then you may take some notes, you may not. Then you take a quiz. You're on your own. You don't have anybody to ask questions. You may be able to email customer support or what have you, but it's not a true program that will help you and establish you. The other thing is not only the certification part that is enticing, but that you get your business upright. You get lessons, you'll learn, you get instruction on what to do to get started. Many of the coaching certification programs only focuses on certification. Then you'll have to go pay more money to go learn how to run and conduct your business because they don't focus on that. Well, you get a twofer. You get a twofer because we have one of the baddest business coaches on the planet. So because you have access to her through this program, you're going to have access to that business knowledge and your next steps on how to build your coaching business once you are certified. You can't find that. I'm just going to be honest, you cannot. And I've researched. So, but if there's somebody out there that can find it or think you can, let me know. We'll be here every night, Monday through Friday, same time.
Wow. Wow. So, and I absolutely agree with what Stephanie has said. One of the things that I know you need to do, you need to make the decision. It's one thing to know what you should do. It's one thing to know that I should drink a gallon of water. It's another thing to actually make the decision, do it, take the action toward doing it. So, you got to make the decision and take action as well. One of the things that I'm getting better at, and that's from working closer with Coach, is like doing it. Just go ahead and do it. She's like, do it right now. Do it. What you waiting for? Why you want to write it on a list to do it later when you could, that time you spent looking for where you want to write it down at, looking for the sticky note, you could have done it. So I'm learning to heed to that more in my life because it's so essential. Some things we allow ourselves time to talk ourselves out of it.
Hmm.
And you will do that as it relates to something important that you need to let go of. You'll
Right.
think of 500,000 reasons why, although you need to, you won't. Don't allow yourself, don't buy into the self-sabotage. If you're going to do it, go ahead and do it. And a lot of times what you have to realize is that you can't have conversations with other people because they may not understand. You've had a change of heart or you've had a change of perspective. Maybe you decided, well, I'm more valuable than the relationship I allowed myself to be in. I'm more valuable than the career that I chose and they're taking advantage of me. I'm more valuable. And so I had plenty of people, girl, you better not leave that good government job. What you talking about? You you gonna work for, what you mean you gonna work for yourself? You better stay at that government job. And that's how they say it too. Like, really? Is it that good? If it's that good, then I shouldn't want to go nowhere, right?
Right.
No. Sometimes you just can't have conversations with certain people. They're not gonna get it, they're not gonna understand, and you gotta be okay with that. Again, sometimes I was saying it earlier when we were interviewing the lady, sometimes you got to walk out there and you got to know that you're going to walk by yourself. Now, you'll catch up with some people on the same road, but a lot of times when you first leave, you're leaving alone. It's okay. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay. It'll be better by and by.
Wow. Yeah. Right. So, guys, though, thank you for joining us. If you're just now joining us, we're talking about how to let things go or letting it go. And we know how difficult that can be for everyone. We all kind of have some sort of situation or involvement with having difficulties with letting things go. So I was giving you guys some suggestions on how to let go. So I'm gonna give you a few more, and then we'll talk about what that does once you finally let go. What happens? Okay. So sometimes though, with letting it go, we feel like, and pride gets in our way with this one, that we're not to a waller in it. If you've ever heard that term, it's an old country southern term. But sometimes it's good to let the negative feelings flow. Get it out of your system because that's one thing that's healthy for you. If you can let it flow and get the negativity out or whatever it's bothering you, whether it's grief, anger, disappointment, sadness, whatever it is, let it go. Let it out and let it pass through you so that you can let it go. Another thing is with that, then that means you need to engage in some kind of self-care. You do need to take care of yourself. You are the most important person. And if no one's told you that, I'm telling you that today. You are the most important person. I don't care if you have kids, grandparents, parents, you taking care of this, that, and the other. Again, if you're no good to yourself, you're no good to anyone else. So you must engage in some kind of self-care for you. Another thing is surround yourself with people who can fill you up. That is getting into a community. Get around some people. And that can be family, but make sure it's somebody that's supporting you in what you want to do. And then some people don't want to hear it. I'm going to tell you, give yourself permission to talk about it. Give yourself permission to talk about it. You can talk about it as much as you want to because that happens to help you get that out of your system. Even if you go to talk to the wall, if you have to go talk to the tree, and sometimes you're dadgummit have to talk to yourself. If that helps you get it out of your system, let it go. At the end of the day, though, this will help you seek wise counsel. We keep saying this over and over, but there's a reason to that. Seek wise counsel. Because again, someone will have a different perspective on your situation. And then also, you may think your situation is the worst ever in the world until you go talk to someone else and you hear their story. And then it makes your situation look smaller than a peanut. So those are some of the things that you can do to let it go. Let it go. Did you want to comment on that, Tisha, before I move on? You
No,
good?
go right ahead.
Yeah, like, go ahead. So what can happen if you finally decide to let it go? Guess what? The biggest thing of all, it's called freedom, guys. I can't say it any other way. If you let it go, freedom is bound to happen. Freeing your mind, freeing your emotions, freeing the way you move, because then you're like, you don't care about what people say, what people think. You let go of unhealthy relationships. You're benefiting. Oh, because you got now you have this newfound freedom, you're going to create and gain better relationships. You're no longer suffering from whatever was holding you back in the first place. Then it'll allow you to grow as a person because now you're reflecting on, and again, we talked about that iceberg, and now that thing has now become, or that person is part of your foundation. It's part of who you are because your experiences make you who you are, but it's not holding you back. You don't make the excuses for it anymore. It just is what it is. And you're able to move from it. All right. And guess what? Or an organization, because I deal with this a lot, has let unjustly let someone go and it wasn't justified at all as to why they let you go. And I'm not talking about being furloughed. I'm not talking about layoffs. I'm talking about just fired because. People hold on to that and they carry that with them. But it's okay if they don't ever reach back out to you and apologize. And it's okay, even in that situation, that you can forgive. Because even just forgiving allows you to let it go. And guys, that's all I have for you. You don't want me to start singing again, but I can let it go, let it go. All right, let it go. And because when you let it go, many, many doors will start opening for you. You'll start seeing things that you are like, whoa, I can reach for that. That can be attainable. I can have that. I didn't know all of this behind me was holding me back. I just never thought it was. But now I can see differently. I can see clearly. I understand the world around me in a new way. So I want you guys to go to bit.ly/free women 2020 and free your mind, guys. Free your mind. Let it go. Come on board and not have any care in the world about what people think of you, what people are going to say, just because you've got trained in this and now you're doing something different. So what? Let them be a part of your foundation. Let them be part of your experiences, but do not let them have a say in your direction from this day forward. Okay, T, you still singing?
I can see clearly now the rain is
Go.
gone.
All right.
Yeah. So, whoo, that's good stuff. You definitely just you life is too short. And I hate putting it that way, but it's the truth. Life is short. And you got to take advantage of every opportunity that you receive. I tell people, they want to complain about different things. I'm like, if you're on this side of the ground, as crazy or jacked up or as messed up or as hurt, as broken as it is, if you're on this side of the ground, there is still hope. So don't give up on
Hmm.
hope. So bit.ly/free women 2020, bit.ly/free women 2020, bit.ly/free women 2020. Go get the process started so that you can start on your new journey, because you let that other stuff go. Pastor said procrastination. You're letting your procrastination go so that you can do what your heart has always desired to do. So listen, guys, join us in the morning for the BYOB morning show. Join us for After Dark tomorrow. You'll probably see some more interviews tomorrow, and then me and Steph will be back after midnight, after dark, after the morning. So in the meantime and in between time, have a great and awesome night, morning, afternoon, whenever you're tuning in. We appreciate you. Replay viewers, share the broadcast. Share. Sharing is caring. And we want to know that you care for us in that way. All right, you guys. See ya.